Welcome to my media briefing also about the so-called Fehlinger doctrine. I want to explain what I exactly mean with that, and I also want to call for the dismantlement of BRICS, the so-called hostile 7 states, and that's all the organizations. Yeah? That's the Eurasian Economic Union, that's the CSTO, the anti-NATO, and that's of course the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, OPEC, and that's of course also BRICS. Yeah? And also the CIS. That should be the 7 organizations which Russia and China have built as a opposition in case of CSTO to NATO, of EAEU, the Eurasian Economic Customs Union, to the EU, in case of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization to the OECD, in case of BRICS, they have built it as anti-OECD, and of course CIS, that's the former Soviet Union, and these organizations, and OPEC obviously also as opposition to OECD, because that's a terrible carbon cartel. OPEC Plus is also with Russia. And these organizations, in my view, I call the hostile 7, they all have to be dismantled by opening our organizations like OECD and OSZE and of course also the UN enlargement, because I'm very much in favor of, for example, Armenia leaving the EIU and the CSTO joining the West, and so that we systematically open especially the OECD in Paris towards all world federal market democracies and also the candidate countries. We have to be much faster, we have to open up our institutions much faster in order to compete and also to ultimately dismantle the hostile 7. The Fehlinger doctrine is partly this, but it's also very clear about the dismantlement of hostile states, especially Syria, Iran, China, and of course Russia. And this is what we need to have as objective. Yeah? And this kind of states which have never developed any kind of value for themselves nor for their citizens, they are terrorist organizations and they should be dismantled. And it also needs to reform the UN. That means that India is getting the seat of Russia, and that depends how India develops. Yeah? But definitely we should stronger believe in our values. And basically it's also about big bad states being transformed into many smaller and much freer, better states which really provide public good and services towards their citizens and are no harm for the world peace. Yeah? And this is the Fehlinger doctrine. I will continue to promote it. In some cases it's a bit of a provocation, I understand. You know, in the case of Brazil, I wish them all the best, but if they are kind of neutral towards the genocide against Ukrainians, where Ukraine is dismantled by military means, they have to live with the fact that I'm promoting also their dismantlement here only on Twitter and on videos. Yeah? So that's absolutely okay, I think. And if they then have a discussion about federalism, transfer of power, less centralistic, kleptocratic, socialist autocracy, which unfortunately some of these countries are gliding into, then it's very good, because maybe there will be more market-based democracies, federalist systems, and more consumer-centric and democratic states, yeah, and economies, and that would be very good for them. And that's what I'm promoting. So in principle, I'm for UN reform, definitely, UN Security Council, that I made very clear already. Countries like Russia and China who are blocking everything and then claiming there is no reform is ridiculous.